Thank you, Madam Chair. As we on this committee have heard time and time again, climate change poses an existential threat to our health, our economy, our national security, and of course our environment. Spike in heat strokes, childhood asthma cases, an impending 10% loss in GDP, increasing political unrest as arable land towards arid and refugee crises loom. The climate crisis is here, and we must address it with all the urgency and complexity that it warrants. We've begun this response with the lower-hanging fruit, those sectors of the economy and our society that are easy to decarbonize. So we have policies to incentivize power companies and utilities to move their generation away from fossil fuels and towards cleaner sources. We have plans in motion to encourage car companies to produce more efficient vehicles. We've talked about reforming the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission and requiring public corporations to disclose their climate-related risks. But as meaningful, as important as all that is, we have to acknowledge that we cannot decarbonize the economy without also figuring out how to decarbonize hard-to-decarbonize sectors. We don't know how to make fertilizer without natural gas. We don't know how to make cement without coal. We don't know how to make silicon without coal. And I don't know how to build a solar panel without cement and silicon and steel. And I don't know how to feed 7 billion people without natural gas. The Clean Industrial Technology Act that is before us today takes a big step in that direction. The bill directs the Secretary of Energy to establish a Department of Energy-led cross-energy research program to reduce emissions from non-power industrial sectors. This includes everything from research on lowering emissions from iron and steel production to finding alternative materials to buildings, to reducing emissions from shipping, aviation, and other modes of long-distance transportation. The bill also authorizes $500 million in spending for demonstration projects to ensure that these technologies can be taken up by the private sector. These projects would aim to not only help the private sector implement cleaner technologies, but also to provide certainty to these businesses that the transition can be made smoothly and profitably. The bill also includes a technical assistance program allowing these private entities in the non-power industrial sectors to seek assistance from the Department of Energy as they try to reduce their emissions. Finally, the Clean Industrial Technology Act would create a federal advisory committee comprised of industry, academic, labor, and federal leaders to guide the industrial technology research program. With more people and perspectives with a seat at the table, it is my hope that we can not only ensure consistent progress towards meeting our goals, but also develop roadmaps to get there more efficiently. The transformation to greener manufacturing is not just critical to our planet, but also for American competitiveness in the 21st century. We are seeing a kind of industrial revolution around the globe as more countries and companies turn their gaze to zero net emission goals. The demand for clean energy and green products worldwide is staggering, and we must set up the U.S. industrial sector to capitalize on this growth and regain its throne as the economic engine of the world. This effort is not and should not be ideological. CITA has been endorsed by the Environmental Defense Fund and the United Steelworkers, but also by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. All of our nations are recognizing that we must decarbonize our industrial sector for the good of the planet, our workers, and our businesses. I was very proud to lead this effort alongside Chairwoman Johnson and Congressman McKinley, as well as Senators Whitehouse and Capito. I'd like to thank them all for their leadership and dedication to taking on this issue in a bipartisan and bicameral manner. I think it helps underscore just how essential this effort is. I urge support of this amendment and the Clean Industrial Technology Act. Thank you, and I yield back.